Honestly, I can say I really enjoyed the Batman. The newest attempt at a franchise that has been redone and rebooted so many times. It's amazing the fandom for this character is still so strong. But I mean, Batman will forever be Batman since, we have a Batwoman and a Batgirl. So at least he can never be gender swapped. But race swapping is definitely still on the table, as we've seen with the CW's Batwoman. But that's neither here nor there. But the Batman is directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson as Batman, and it follows a younger, more reclusive Bruce Wayne in his second year as the Caped Crusader, finally instilling fear into the rising brigade of criminals in Gotham City. He's more of a detective than a brawler, but he still kicks ass since he's fucking Batman. But it's pretty cool, whereas in the Christopher Nolan series, you got to see him train to become the Dark Knight and go through all this rigorous training for his body. In this one, Batman, you really get to see how smart the character is and how much he pays attention to detail and how much of a detective he actually is. It's pretty interesting. I mean, he still fights and everything, but it is cool to see the smarts of the character versus him just fighting everybody all the time. And honestly, it did kind of give me a feeling of Gotham City, the Gotham Arkham Asylum game and everything. Though it was pretty much the same feeling and concept of oh, look, he's here and there finding clues, collecting trophies, fighting bad guys, going to another location, collecting truths, fighting bad guys, and then you're at a boss battle or a car chase scene. It was totally like a video game. It was really cool, but it just felt like the movie was stuck in the fact that it had to be a movie, but it was trying to be this fun, engaging story, and it just kind of fell short. And the main reason for that, I would say, was its villains. I mean, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I said it once, I'll say it again. I did not like the Riddler's costume. This fool was literally a mix between, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises and Jigsaw. He was just a guy who really liked puzzles. Borderline the Zodiac killer or whatever. It wasn't the Riddler. There was you could have just put him back in the suit with Arkham City. That is my favorite Riddler rendition, with his cool 50s 60s attire and his bowler hat, the glasses. I mean, it's just fucking awesome. Even you could have even kept the leotard with Jim Carrey, or even old school where he just had the mask over his eyes. He was never afraid of, he would never shy away from letting you know his name. He was like, I'm Edward Nygma, I'm smarter than you. Whereas here he was just this fucking weird, closeted, I don't know, I guess incel. I don't know what they wanted to describe him as, but it's it just wasn't the fucking Riddler. And given that they had all these, given that they had such a perfect character to, bring to the big screen, it just kind of sucked that they did not do, in my opinion, good of a job at all. But yes, then you had Catwoman. Catwoman was pretty awesome, actually. I really enjoyed her. The fact that she was black was, I didn't care at first, the whole race swap. I was like, hopefully it's gonna be all right. And it was I love that they didn't make her race swap a prominent piece of plot detail. The only time the only time she did her burglary, her cat burglariness, was when she was robbing for her friend, when she was trying to steal her friend's passport. So that was pretty cool. It wasn't like she was robbing the white folks of Gotham and saying that she was oppressed and that the white people of Gotham were the reason everything was fucked up. Though, granted, all the white people of Gotham were the reason everything was fucked up, but I don't know if they intended for that. To make the characters that they wanted to be better characters black, but whatever. It was still a great movie. But I loved how, that scene when she's robbing for her friend, Batman comes to over and sees her and overpowers her in an instant. There is no I'm a woman, so obviously I could take you out. It's nah, man, Batman, we just saw him take out a group of skulled random gang motherfuckers, and you're gonna sit here and tell me that Catwoman can take him out? Nah. But yeah, so I really liked her, and I thought that she was fantastic. Penguin was pretty cool. Again, Colin Farrell, did a phenomenal job, but Danny DeVito will always be the Penguin. We just won't speak about the Gotham CW weird gay Penguin. Just no need. Sorry, not sorry. But he did his role well, and he was pretty much just a mob boss. A kingpin. He didn't really do much. It just they had to take out the whole Italian mafia for him to be oh, you know what? Maybe I can take over this town. Come on, give me a chance. Come on, it was kind of whatever. But again, I just like Danny DeVito's Penguin because of that whole dark, tone. That Penguin had, and the freakiness and the eating of the fish and all that bullshit. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but he was pretty much anybody. He could have been anybody. It didn't have to be Colin Farrell, but and he fucking waddled, which I will say was awesome. That scene when they had him tied up and he waddled, I was like, yep, that's gonna be the Penguin. But we'll see. You know, if they get a sequel, hopefully they, you know, Matt Reeves said he wanted to bring in like Mr. Freeze or someone, and like I hope they do. I think at the end, that scene in the prison cell was Two-Face, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, so as for Commissioner Gordon, yeah, my bro was solid. I thought Commissioner Gordon was pretty good. Again, the whole race swap thing was fine. Didn't really care. Same with Catwoman. I almost didn't even realize they were black halfway through the movie. I was just like, oh yeah, look at that. Like, they're doing such a good job. But with Commissioner Gordon, I will say it was very interesting that they didn't use the race card on him, you know, because he pretty much would bring Batman into crime scenes and shit. And I know he's still a vigilante and stuff. So, you know, he was never like in the crime scene with the police. You know, he'd have to show up like afterwards, and he's like walking right on in there like he's one of the detectives. And even at the end, when he ends up in the room with all the police and Gordon, and they don't unmask him, it's like, really? Like, you're telling me they, like, after everything and the original commissioner like chewing out Gordon for letting Batman come, you're telling me none of the other policemen like snapped and were like, you know what, fuck this guy, we're gonna take off his mask and see who this guy is? Like, no one thought that, and Gordon was just able to hold everyone down, like, and accountable. Like, I mean, I guess, but whatever, you know. And then the fact that he like sucker punches him, it's just kind of like all the cops probably felt like super stupid. Like, they're like, oh man, we didn't unmask his full, now he like punched our commissioner, we're all gonna get fired. Like, it's just like makes no sense. But again, I did like the way that they used this character. You know, they didn't like rewrite his backstory or some bullshit to show him that he was like the only black cop in Gotham that was trying to do something good, you know, because all the white people are fucked up, or like he had a shitty childhood, and, you know, he wanted to be a cop to make Gotham better. I mean, I'm just glad they didn't pull any bullshit like that. Like with what was it, Candyman, the 2021 Candyman, where it turned into this whole gentrification race bullshit of like, you know, it was just nonsense. So I'm glad they did not go that route. So I was very pleased with this film and its, you know, appreciation of the characters and how the characters were portrayed. And again, even though they were race swapped, I felt like I forgot that they were race swapped, which is the key to race swapping. You should be able to forget that the characters are race swapped and just enjoy the character for who they are. So congratulations, Matt Reeves. Congratulations. But overall, like I said, it was a good Batman movie. It's a bit long, you know, Yes, at times, I'll admit, I didn't really notice it was 3 hours, but some scenes you were like, oh man, like, I guess this scene could like end already. And one scene that I will, I guess, spoil, but not really spoil, was that scene with Riddler in the prison cell, because it's like, all right, even if he's sitting there with Two-Face, they spent a lot of time going around in circles to not tell you at all if it was Two-Face or not. So I was just watching that scene like, well, this was an eye roller. What the fuck was this all about? This could have not been in this movie. This scene did not have to be in this movie. Try to put in too much bullshit at the end just to try to make all these quick revelations, and then it's kind of like, I forgot, and I feel like we'll never know. But again, I enjoyed it. I really did think it was a good, solid Batman film. Was it my favorite Batman? Maybe. I really did love Robert Pattinson's Batman. I thought he was stoic. I thought he was like stern and hard and, you know, clever, and he, you know, like, again, the attention to detail and the thought that went into all of his Batman stuff, you know, him building his Batmobile, him building the suit, him building his lair. He didn't have a Lucius Fox. It was just him 2 years in. Fucking bravo, Batman. But as for Bruce Wayne, definitely not my favorite Bruce Wayne. He was a little too emo, little too moody. Just, you know, he just had his moments, but he was just like the drinker said it best. He's like a member of My Chemical Romance. Like, yeah, it's pretty much what he was. And, you know, Alfred was all right. Maybe a little too old, or maybe a little too young, but, you know, he was all right. Old British guy. I guess it was kind of cool, but nothing beats Michael Caine. Michael Caine will always be the best. But yeah, so hopefully they make a good follow-up, you know. Let's see what they can do next. All I'm really waiting for right now is the HBO Max Green Lantern series. That's the only other thing in DC that I'm about ready for. And I know that they're supposed to have a bunch of lanterns in it, so hopefully it's good. Fingers crossed, but I'm not holding my breath. And then, of course, Black Adam will probably be fun because it's fucking The Rock. So how bad could it be? But as for the Flash and like whatever else they decide to do, like, I mean, and, you know, I'm just kind of like checked out already. I was always just a Green Lantern fan, really. I mean, I like Batman, but I was always more of a Green Lantern fan when it came to DC. So I'm definitely waiting for that, and I really hope it's good and it's not as shitty as the Ryan Reynolds one. No offense, Ryan. But yeah, this is about all I got. Go out, check out the Batman. I feel like most people have probably seen it already. But if you haven't, definitely go check it out. If you don't want to sit in the theater for 3 hours, totally understand. You can wait till it comes out on streaming and just watch it at home, so you don't have to worry about not being able to pause it. But yeah, so check it out, The Batman. Definitely think you guys will get a kick out of it. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. It's been Ghost on the Craig, and you guys have a fantastic start to your week. Peace.